Man, how long has it been since I've done a versus video? It feels like forever since I've done one of these, and I'm back midway through the season or just a little bit over the midway point, and I'm here to do another video where we rank some of the best players in the league against each other. And in today's video, we're going to do Ja Morant yet again because I did do Ja versus De'Aaron Fox, and oh boy, that video aged poorly. But in this video, we're going to be comparing the young Ja to the other young point guard in the other conference, Trae Young. Ice Trae versus Ja. It's going to be fun today, trust me. But before we get started, make sure you guys drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and press that bell for post notifications. If you enjoyed these versus videos, you gotta let me know with the like button. But without further ado, let me tell you guys who are new to the channel how I do my versus videos. So usually I start off with one player and then I talk about the other. I talk about their strengths, weaknesses, accomplishments that are pretty recent that apply to the current discussion, and then at the end of the video I give you guys my verdict on who I believe is the better player and why. But without further ado, let's get this shit started with the first player we're going to talk about, and that is Trae Young. Now, Ice Trae has been that nigga ever since his days at Oklahoma. I gotta say, the things that he can do on the court, it truly is entertaining as fuck to watch. When you look at his skill set as an offensive player, he truly is one of the best that we have seen over the last couple of decades. And that's no exaggeration. I mean, when you look at his overall package, it truly embodies everything you want from the modern day point guard in the NBA. His ability to break you down on the ball with his handles, while being able to get to the rim and shoot the mid-range jumper, it makes him a threat to score anywhere on the court. And with his range extending further than most three-point shooters, with the ability to create from that range as well, it stretches out the defense and helps his ability as a playmaker. And add on top of the fact that he's one of the best passers in the league with vision that's on par with players like Jokic and LeBron James, it truly just makes what he can do as an offensive player incredible. Because with the ball in his hands, he truly dictates everything for the Atlanta Hawks offense. He's a great pick and roll ball handler, which is a very frequent play used in the Atlanta Hawks offense. And on a team that has a lot of spot up guys that aren't that great of creators individually and lob threats like John Collins and Clint Capella, Trae's value on that team is truly insane, considering that without him they'd be one of the worst offenses in the league, and with him they're one of the best. And I know people knock Trae Young for being a foul baiter or just looking for contact when he gets to the rim, but something has to be said for the fact that Trae Young can get to the free throw line as much as he can and be as efficient as he is at the free throw line. Because him being able to put constant pressure and putting guys in foul trouble, there's value in that as an offensive player. Trae Young this year is averaging 28 points a game along with 9 assists and 4 rebounds, shooting 45% from the field, 37 to 38% from 3 on nearly 8 attempts a game, and nearly 90% at the free throw line. That all accumulates to a true shooting percentage of nearly 59%. The efficiency in his game with his ability to carry that Atlanta Hawks roster makes him one of the best offensive players in the league. And if you need further proof of how he's backpacking that offense, just look at his offensive on-off numbers. As for when he's on the court, they have a near 119 offensive rating, and when he's off, it drops to a 107.5. That means he is a plus 11 offensively with his on-off numbers. That truly is insane. You don't see that kind of impact from many offensive players in today's league or superstars in general. Now, though Trae is an amazing offensive player, offense is just one side of the ball. The other side of the ball, that's truly where all of his weaknesses come. As on the defensive side of the ball, there truly are no positives at all. He's one of the worst defenders in the league, and I'm sure his size is a big issue why, but even when you watch him, the energy and effort is truly not there consistently. And I wish I could say he's good or at least average at something, or just a little bit below average at one aspect on the defensive side of the ball, but I'll be lying if I did say that. Because if we're being real, Trae is a liability defensively. Like bad off ball, bad on ball, bad rotations, bad switches, not great in pick and roll, can't fight over screens. I mean, the guy is just useless on the defensive side of the ball, and he makes everybody on that Atlanta Hawks team have to work 10 times harder than they originally should. And I'm not trying to unnecessarily shit on Trae Young, but if we're being honest, he's just a really bad defender and a liability on that side of the ball even. But nonetheless, he's still a great point guard with a boatloads of potential. He's only in his 4th season and maybe he improves on that side of the ball. And even despite his defensive struggles, we know you can win games with him, as the Hawks are one of the best teams in the league in the second half of last season, which carried over into the playoffs as they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. But speaking of carrying things over, that brings us to the next contestant in this versus video, Ja Morant. Everybody's sensation this year, Ja Morant. I gotta say, the things he's done this year and the leaps he's taken in his game has truly been incredible. Because I won't lie, I always knew Ja Morant had potential. If you go back to before he was even drafted, I predicted he was going to be the Rookie of the Year, and so he did do that. But after seeing certain point guards like De'Aaron Fox and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last season, I thought that they were better than him. But at the end of the day, something has to be said for leading your team to consistent wins. And though Ja has a better roster than a lot of people want to give them credit for having, you have to factor in the ability to lead your team to success, and Ja Morant has done that in his 3 quick years in the NBA. Since Ja's been in the NBA, he's been one of the best finishers in the league with the ability to get rim pressure seemingly effortlessly. I mean, even when they sag off of him, when they set those screens on his opposing man, he just blows right by them. His first step is quick as fuck. The ability to just blow by his man off the dribble is truly a beauty to watch. And because of his athleticism, he can either slam it down on the opposing player in the paint, or he's Derrick Rose-esque with acrobatic layups that nobody sees coming. And when you look at his vision as a playmaker, he truly is one of the best and ahead of his years. His IQ is top tier, whether it's with no-look passes or just picking defenses apart in the half court with great passes, or pushing the ball on the break with his athleticism in transition. Ja's not only able to pick a defense apart as a scorer primarily at the rim as a finisher, but he can do it as a playmaker and passer of the ball. And when it comes to his shooting, I know that's been a weakness in his career, and he still doesn't really get guarded at the 3-point line as much, but the growth in his 3-point shot this year has been a pleasant surprise, because along with his career highs in the box score of 26 points a game, 7 assists and 6 rebounds on 49% from the field and 76% at the free throw line, he also has a career high in his 3-point percentage, as he's shooting 35% from 3 on just short of 5 attempts a game. And it's not just open dribble pull-ups that he's getting, even though a lot of them are, but sometimes he'll even get them off of a screen off ball. And sure, like I said, the defense is not guarding him on a lot of these threes, as you want him to take those jumpers instead of getting into the paint where he's best at, but he is knocking a lot of them down, and the progression in his 3-point ability this season has been a scary sight for the NBA. But then that brings us to his weaknesses, and similar to Trae Young, offensively, Ja almost has the perfect package. Pause yet again. But when you look at the defensive side of the ball, that's truly where a majority of his weaknesses lie. Because similar to Trae, he's not good on that side of the ball whatsoever. Off the ball, it's not that good. On the ball, it's not that good. And hell, even in his rotations, switches, pick and roll, it's still not that good. The only reason I would hesitate to say that he's a liability is due to his athleticism, as it does give him an advantage on that side of the ball on occasion. And Ja has been pretty blessed to be in a situation like Memphis, where he has great defenders around him like Dillon Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., and now even Steven Adams on the team. He can afford to have his lapses on that side of the ball, and it's easier for him to just fit into a defensive team that already has players that can make his job a hell of a lot easier on that side of the ball. But he's still nonetheless a great player and one of the top 10 players I believe right now in the NBA, along with Trae Young. And now that I've discussed the strengths and weaknesses of both of these guys, that brings us to my verdict of who I believe is the better player. And it was a tough one, don't get me wrong, they're very close, you can coin flip it if you want to, but me personally, I'm going to go with Trae Young. And the reason why is, yes, I understand Trae is a liability defensively. That's usually going to be the counter argument for Ja Morant fans that say Ja is better than Trae. But at the end of the day, they're both terrible on the defensive side of the ball. Shit is still going to be shit. It doesn't matter how shit it is. And yes, I understand Trae Young's defense is shit, but Trae Young clears him on the offensive side of the ball. And I don't think enough people understand that Ja Morant and Trae Young are in 2 completely different situations. Though they do carry some type of load offensively as the primary ball handler, Trae Young is still responsible for far more of the offensive duties. And if you think him being bad on the defensive side of the ball is that much of a liability, I present with you last postseason. The Hawks were not some great defensive team. I believe they were in the bottom half defensively last year, and they even lost their best perimeter defender, DeAndre Hunter, for the playoffs. And despite them losing DeAndre Hunter, their best wing defender, they were still able to get to the conference finals due to Trae Young's offense being able to overcompensate for it. Meanwhile, when you look at a guy like Ja Morant, who's a less talented offensive player, he's still a pretty bad defender in his own right and is protected on that side of the ball. Trae Young doesn't have the luxury of having a big that can switch on the perimeter while defending the paint in Jaren Jackson Jr., or defenders like Dylan Brooks on the perimeter, Desmond Bane, Kyle Anderson, Brandon Clark. I mean, the list goes on and on of solid defenders around Ja Morant that Trae Young doesn't have the luxury of having. So I'm going to take Trae Young over Ja Morant because offensively he clears him by the bigger gap than their defensive gap. But I'm sure a lot of Ja Morant fans are going to disagree, so let me know your opinions down below in the comment section. Who do you believe is the better player, Trae Young or Ja Morant? Don't just comment who you believe the better player is, but also give me your reasoning why. Make sure you don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and press that bell for post notifications, and follow me on social media. The links are down below in the description box. This is your boy Young Mustard signing out. You guys stay safe and have a blessed day. Peace.